Hi, I'm Danny Olish from SM Pro Audio. This is Music Messe 2014. As you can see around us, it's still all in a big mess. It's just before the big show starts tomorrow, and we're here doing a bit of a pre-release on an amazing new product. It's the uMix series of digital mixers that we are going to be releasing tomorrow. And basically we've got 4 in the range, starting with the uMix Mini, which is an 8-channel digital mixer, going up to the uMix 24 with the uMix 12 and uMix 16s in between. The big difference with our mixers, as you can see, they can be a stage box or they can be rack mountable, and they don't need an app to download. You basically work from any HTML5 compatible website. So you can run Android as we are running there. We can run a PC, we can run a Linux system, we can run an iPad. If you want, you could even run it on a phone. As long as you've got HTML5 compliant web browser, you'll be able to run the software. The software actually lives inside the hardware, and you have a built-in Wi-Fi router inside the hardware, so you can log in directly to the hardware without any other internet around that you have to connect to, or you can connect an external router if you so wish and run with a Cat5 cable. You're able to run up to 10 devices at the same time, and they'll all work simultaneously. For example, this is an iPad mini, if I'm moving the fader here, it's running on the Android machine as well at the same time.
And that's all over the Wi-Fi network?
It's all over the uMix Wi-Fi network. Okay, or any Wi-Fi network for that sense. As long as the uMix is connected to the same network, it's fine. But it does have its own network as well.
So there's DSP on board?
There's DSP on board. There's also a computer system, like it's a dual-core ARM inside this machine, doing all the smart things, the web server, and a bit of extra effect processing on board. On the uMix 16 and 24, we also have a Waves Max Bass and max volume DSP chip built in the system.
So that gives you a bit of maximization and enhancement,
yeah,
right?
An enhancement on your master outputs. So let's go a little bit through the software so you can just see it quickly. You've got up to obviously 24 channels with the uMix 24. You can cascade 2 of the uMix 24s and have 48 channels if you so wish. There's a special cascade connector on board as well, Cat5 connector. So we've got simple things. I mean, you look at the mixer, it looks like a mixer straight away. So you can see that you can use it. And as you can see, there's the IP address of this uMix unit. So it's inside a web browser. Although it looks like an app, it's a web browser. So you don't have to go to any external website to download a piece of software. You just go to the IP address of the actual uMix mixer itself.
Right.
So you can obviously change the levels, solos and mutes.
And this is all happening on HTML5?
Yeah, that's all on HTML5. Yep, awesome. Correct. So that's all the work we did really is the software. That's the hard part of the work, okay? Then we have a equalization, so you got a built-in 3-band parametric EQ with a high-pass filter. You've got dynamics there as well. We'll go to the iPad, we can do it on that at the same time. Oopsie, see?
Cool.
So, EQ, okay, so you got a 3-band parametric EQ with variable Q. Okay, with a high-pass filter. Okay, all finger controlled, quite simply. Compressor limiter built in, okay. With the gain and the compression levels, hard, soft knee, built-in auxiliaries, so up to 8 auxiliaries on the uMix 24.
So physical auxiliary outputs as well?
Yeah. So people say, okay, it's a mixer, but not just that. I mean, you could use it with really big systems as well as extra auxiliary sends or for in-ear monitoring. To set it up as an in-ear monitoring system. Like a sub-mixer as well.
Is it possible to transmit the audio back over the network?
Interesting idea. Maybe we'll do that next time. There's always an upgrade path.
Right.
There's always an upgrade path with this as far as that's concerned.
Is it 10 base or gigabit? What's the
It's 100 base, 10 100, yeah. So you could think, but you've got Wi-Fi there as well. And so effects sends, you have up to 4 effects processors built in. There's a reverb chorus, a couple of delays. Again, these will be changeable on the uMix 24.
Oh, so and the effects algorithms, are they your own stuff, or are you?
Totally our own stuff. So the analog devices DSP, like there's a Shark DSP, for example, and other DSPs that we use, and they have obviously algorithms that can be built for them, as well as the ARM dual-core processor, which we can build our own algorithms into as well. Okay. So let's talk about the uMix 8. Okay, for a simple unit, you would go and small bands can now do their settings. As you can see, there's no gain knobs on either of these units. And the reason for that is because they all have remote gain built in.
Ah, right, okay.
Okay, so you don't have to actually walk to the unit to control the gain. You will see that directly on the mixer. So you've got a mix gain button here, and that'll be your gain control directly there.
And what are the mic amps? Are they common to all models? Or are they
well, on the 24 and 16, they're a little bit higher, but actually they're very, very similar on all of them. And we designed a brand new remote mic for ourselves because the standard ones we would not be able to do for this kind of price.
And what's the sample rate it runs at internally?
48 kilohertz.
Right,
okay. So I'm going to play a little bit of music. So I'm going to, for instance, mute all these tracks first of all. Okay. So we're going to play, whoopsie, some music here. Okay.
Oh, that's reflected on
reflected on the other screen, which is running on the same network. That's an Android. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's an iPad Mini. Okay. So I'm going to run some multi-track audio. So as you can see, you'll have metering on the iPad, and you'll have metering on the Android.
Oh, right, so the metering comes across on the...
Yeah, on the Wi-Fi, okay? Directly there. I'm going to grab, for instance, go back, okay? So as you can see, snare, hat, bass, voice 5, vocal. So let's grab the vocal here. I'm going to put my headphones on, so if I see that, okay? So I'm going to put that, put the level. Okay, good voice there. I can go to EQ. A bit of high pass filter.
I have to tell a story of 1,000 rainy days since we first met. It's a big
Now if I can view all the levels going in.
Always me who ends up getting
I can jump into any of these sections immediately. For instance, if the gain is too high, I click on a gain and that'll take me directly to the gain pages.
Right, for each
Okay,
group.
for each unit, correct. It shows me that they're on mutes. It'll show me they're on solos. And there's a small drop box here. I'll go back to the mic where I can go directly to effects return, jump to effects return on the page, jump to subgroups. You can have auxiliary master. You can set up your own view groups and mute groups. I can assign to subgroups, stereo linking, resetting the channel, copy and paste settings. So there's a lot of features of the bigger consoles that we actually installed in the smaller unit itself.
And I keep forgetting this is written in HTML, so it's sort of a bit more, that's what's mind-blowing about it.
That is mind-blowing about it. And also if we do an update for an iPad, it's the same update for everything.
Right.
So it uses another technology, which means that it doesn't, you know how a lot of websites look different on other web browsers? It doesn't work that way from that point of view, the way it's written.
So the graphical assets and stuff all live
inside.
And that's flash upgrade, you just USB it in
Correct.
or whatever. Yeah.
Correct, or via Wi-Fi.
Right.
Okay, so if I can bring the whole mix up here. So if I want to put a bit more compression on the bass, for example, I'll go to dynamics.
You turn that up a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good.
every little thing she does, yeah. Every
That's
little
good
thing
bass.
she
Each
does,
channel has
yeah.
dynamics, graphic, EQ.
Magic, yeah.
Sorry, Nick.
Each channel has graphics and dynamic EQ, right?
Yeah, and on the outputs you've got also, on all the auxiliaries, on each auxiliary you've got a graphic EQ, 15-band graphic and a compressor limiter on all the outputs as well. Okay, so from a monitoring point of view it's quite simple to add that. So if I go into effects, for instance, and put some effect up, high pass, low pass filter on the
It's quite responsive, isn't it, for considering it's HTML as well?
Yeah, and you're running over a wireless network to it. It's very, very responsive. Just the smart way that it's written lends itself to be used in a live situation. I mean, you could have this, for example, showing you levels, or going into another page showing you these things, while on the pad you can actually mix or do some EQ at the same time.
So you can have
multiple devices showing different things. And then if you want on stage, for like the band is playing here and they have their own uMix devices for each person, you can restrict their usage in the restriction pages to what you can actually do
Oh,
on
so
each one.
They can edit their own monitor mixes and what have you.
Correct. And very cute thing we did on the AugSense, okay? If you're an AugSense and you'll start doing a mix from scratch, so we've added a button called main to mix. Main to aux, sorry. So you hit the main to aux button and it copies whatever's on the main mix
So
to
that's
the
your
aux,
starting point.
your starting point, and then you can just put up a little bit more of my vocal, for example.
Right, that's neat.
Okay, and then I can go to the EQ and go to aux EQs, and you got your multi-band graphic here and your compressor as well.
Neat.
One more thing that we added inside is the media player. So the uMix 8, 12, 16 and 24 all have a play, and the 16 and 24 and the 12 have a record as well. And that's a 2-channel record.
Okay, so you can just
Yeah.
record okay, got it.
Yeah. So you can have all your files that are on a stick in there, and you can start the files and set them up from your actual device separately and
And the
remotely.
playback is stereo as well.
Yeah,
right?
it's stereo playback, definitely. It's a stereo playback. On the uMix 24, there is a slot there where we can add multi-track play record, as well as other things.
Something else. To come
Something
later.
else to come later, yes.
Wow. So what's the price point for these things then?
We start at an incredible $249, €199 for the 8-channel. We estimate all the bands that are normally carrying around analog mixers are going to buy a uMix Mini because they can save the settings, because they can have remote gain, because they can just chuck it on the stage, plug their instruments into it, duos, trios, single players. That's a perfect solution for them.
Wow. And are there ability to do things like change patches? So if you wanted to quickly
Yeah,
change patches,
certainly.
a
So-
delay setting on the vocal or whatever.
Correct. That's called snapshots. Okay, so if we go to the output here, and we can go to the snapshot pages and set up all your snapshots as you wish. Okay. So you load up shows. Okay, so for instance, current show, I'll click on new. Okay, I'll put up a new show for it. So let's call it Danny. Okay, Dan 1. And hit return. Okay. And that'll load up a new show,
Which is like a setup for the entire
set up
mixer.
for the entire mix. You see, Dan 1 is in there now.
Right.
And then I load up snapshots for that show, like all your songs within that show.
Right, so there you go.
And then with those, you can see these F1, F2 buttons on your main page. You can go to your configuration, and you can actually configure what the F1 and F2 buttons do. So you can do update current snapshot, next snapshot, favorite show, go to master EQ and play and record. So you can set those buttons up to do what you like them to do.
Right, neat. Obviously a lot of thought got into this. Was quick.
Well, not really. We've been on the DSP stuff for a couple of years, and the actual software at least a year, and a really good team of people that are working on the whole system currently. So we invested a lot of time, and we spoke to a lot of other engineers on how to make the software user-friendly, but also professional, that anyone can use it, from a new guy to someone that's been doing shows all their lives. Yeah. So if you go to our website, JSM Pro Audio, the nice thing about this is that you can actually try the software. It's there, online.
Right.
You just go online and you go to JSM Pro Audio, you'll see a uMix button there, and you click on the uMix, and actually loads the software into your browser, whether it's a phone or not. And just now we're also updating so it even works on little phones, so you can use it on a phone. It doesn't have to be a big device, it can be a smaller device as well.
So you're not going to be mixing somebody's gig inadvertently there, are you? If you
No,
load up.
but that's right. Yeah, well, that's another thing, that if the system stops, it doesn't stop the DSP from working. That keeps going. Okay, what happens these days with other systems if the iPad goes? You can't just take somebody else's device and use it. You have to load the software into that device. What if there's no internet there? Suddenly you can't use the whole digital mixer.
Right.
You can grab anybody's device and just log into the IP and start mixing again. It'll load that mix to you where you were.
Can you protect it though as well? 'Cause
Sure. Well, it's password protected.
right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, cool.
Well, the network is password protected, as well as every parameter that you can do here.
So when are we going to start seeing these?
Well, the 8 and the 12, we are hoping to get out June, July
Right.
to stores. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Danny.
Thank you, Nick.